Okay, so we are on the, we were dating each other now. We see each other, we know each other's friends. We even start joining friends parties and everything, so we started really getting to know each other. And now moving forward, I would say this, we understand there's something that kind of strike me personally, especially and that happens around after her birthday. I don't really remember the event, but really, then I started, hey, she is from the other side of the world, right? She's from the other side of the world. That's why at first I told you that, I think there will definitely be a little bit of attraction, to the relationship. First, we're gonna be, interested in that person, and then you don't go on dating to get to know that person. And of course, you have to, get to a certain point where you ask some other very important question. Hey, she's from Zimbabwe. I'm from Haiti. This is like at least 6 hours different, I believe, comes into Haiti. 6 or 7 hours. It's something there like that. Of course, now we started asking ourselves some very, very major questions. Okay. And then knowing, understanding what that could mean, we started also sharing about that. And I can tell you, it was not very easy when we saw that, when we were looking at the picture of her, where she is, her family, and myself and my family. And I could tell you, I was finishing my bachelor degree. That was the year I was finishing, because I finished in 2012, and my family was already waiting for me back home. Of course, myself, I intended to do the master's degree, which I did, but they were already waiting for me. China is a too far place to be. And please, 2023, I'm still here. Okay, so we started out asking ourselves those very big questions. And when we actually saw the picture, church, you gotta hear us on this. I don't know when you will start asking yourself this question. And I think I'm glad that you're here already. Maybe you have already started the relationship. Maybe you're thinking about it, but I can tell you, you need to think about this. You need to ask yourself this. You need to consider this reality of the different countries where you're from, or I don't know, if you're from like ourselves, different continents. These are very major. You have to ask them as well. Be honest about yourself. Don't wait for them to, later on, okay, all right. No. You have to face them first. And when we started facing it, what we saw was so big that we went into prayer and fasting. We had to. And I can tell you, over the years, God has helped us a lot, okay, keeping us together. But of course, there are challenges. As I said, time difference, and our families, language, food, okay, a lot of things, that could keep us apart, okay. But of course, because we first considered praying and fasting, we brought all of these into the picture. We considered them. And then with that, of course, we understood, what, as I said earlier, we are glorifying God into this as well. Okay, of course, we have to know, okay, well, it's going to be hard for me. It's going to be hard for your family to know that you are with someone whom they cannot even communicate with his family, because my people don't speak English. And by the way, we are united by Mandarin, Chinese and English, okay, in terms of language. Okay, so her family cannot talk to my family. Of course, I do have some brothers and sisters in the state now. They can talk to them. But like my dad, my mom, okay, she passed away, but my mom then was still alive. They couldn't communicate. So of course, these are things you have to consider, because it's always beautiful for the parents. And actually, I get to understand that. I know that in the African culture, it's important that the parents, they know each other. That's the biggest foundation. It's kind of it builds some kind of a trust. I don't know if I can call it like that, for the two families to say, okay, it's all right, you can have my daughter, or it's okay for my son. All right. So, but for us, we really didn't have much of that. Okay, we didn't have, of course, like my brothers and sisters, they could talk to her, okay, but not really with her parents. Okay, things like that. I of course I've been there. Okay, but there was still some issues. It was not the best. Okay, now what can you get involved in such a relationship without thinking about those? That wouldn't be nice of you. You have to think about them. All right. Think about, how her family, how is your family gonna see it? Of course, I'm not saying it's gonna affect the whole thing. Okay, but you shouldn't just ignore it. Okay, so yeah, we when we saw the whole picture and how hard it was going to be, not just for ourselves, but also for our families, we went into prayer and fasting. Okay, we prayed, we fasted, and then I started, of course, talking to his family, you know, then getting to know them. And just to make them feel comfortable, when I was going home for the first time, like after I came to China in 2017, the first time I was going home, that was 2014, winter 2014. I wanted her to come with me. So I call her family back home and I tell them, okay, I would like her to come with me to my country. Of course, they were not comfortable with that, and you would understand that. Okay, they said, no, you should come to us first. I understood that. Okay, so of course, then I went alone. And then when I came back, I made it as a priority for me to go to her country. Okay, which I did. And that was 2015, around January. Okay, like the next year I did it. Okay, we went together to Zimbabwe. So look, these are very important. Now, initiating the whole thing, you have to get to learn you have to learn the person, you have to understand. And you have to have some kind of a goal and an aim. You have to have an ideal. I think I'll call it an ideal. And our ideal, was, as I talked about, we were united by Mandarin and English, but most of all, we were united by the cross. Okay, that was really the major thing that united us, because we understood that, yes, you know what, we're gonna face difficulty, but if we fail, the cross failed somehow. It failed too. It's just like saying what Jesus, came to accomplish was not possible. Okay, and look, we are not forcing you guys to do something that you're not ready for. Okay, but it is a truth that we have to consider. If you say that cross-cultural relationship is not possible, it's not possible. It's like saying the cross was not possible, because the cross came for Gentile. It came for, and we were from different religion, background, countries, time differences. We made it. And we believe that God was glorified and the gospel was fulfilled through that. Okay. So I would say so much. I don't know if you want to add something. The little one just fell asleep. Okay. Come. She wants to say something. Come forward. And after we'll hear questions, guys. Amen.
Okay. I think I'm gonna talk more like from my perspective and for the other ladies, right? So yeah, the starting, the friendship, and then moving on to the dating, and then yes, now that this step might not have been so difficult, but then it's started to dawn, on me or on us that we are actually from different countries. And I should also note, by then, how it was going. The other people I had came with in the first year, right? By the first year, we were in what do you call that? We all got into relationships, right? But for most of our friends, by the time the first year was finished, their relationship, they had already broken up. So this was things like, wow, yeah. Okay, for me, like, okay, so I was like, where is it gonna go? Yeah. So I was just, and everybody also was watching, like, where is this really gonna go? But then, okay, and then we were going. But for myself, I would say I was, there were things I was just looking out for, like, I wanted to see, like, is he serious? Does he have good intentions? I had to really cross-check and check out that. And I would tell you this. Even I guess he definitely, did you get to know, or he doesn't know? But I did did a background check, an investigation. I did.
You see?
Yeah, because for me, I had to be sure, because one, I don't know this person is from the other country. I needed to know what was there, what was not, and everything to be cleared. So most of the time, I did my investigation and background check, and then I would discuss with him and cross check if he was going to tell the truth. Now, now I'm saying, so every time I have to tick the box that, oh, okay, what he's saying is matching with what I find out, or something like that. So yeah, that's how the relationship went. And then until now, we get together to the point we realize, oh, we are both really serious into the thing. So as we were into serious, that's when yeah, but not throughout most in our relationship, we had days we fasted together, we prayed together for many different things that was concerning us. And then yeah, I would say that yeah, when we were ongoing, mostly, as a girl, I used to talk to my mom, later on, as the relationship was somewhere, I just begin to hint that, oh, there is, there's a someone here or something like that. And then anyway, when it really, really, yeah, God's, yeah. Now we were also looking at the time as we were going. Okay, we're at this stage. Where do we want to take this relationship? That's then I think when we're now taking steps that I have to be introduced to his family, and then I have to introduce him to my family, and then that's when we wanted to do the travel together to see. So by then I had to dad is the most difficult, so I just told dad, oh, well, maybe sometimes I might bring a visitor or something like that. I just had to give, and then he was, oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's how we went until finally, yeah, I think the first part, they denied me going. And then until, okay, he could go with me. And then, yes, that's how we went. Yeah. But anyway, by the time we were we already now planned going to our country. By then, we were set. We're set. So we're set, we are getting married. Yeah, they had known through the phone. Now they had to meet the person in person. And then after, we meet. That was, yes.
But I remember the first time I visited Zimbabwe. That was, for me, it was okay. It was fine. It was like something I would say normal. But I can remember the way I was welcomed there. One of the first words that her dad say, even at the airport, I remember, he said, Walter, you're brave. I think I was like, okay, that's brave. Okay. Okay, I'm brave. All right. Okay, now looking at it, I think I understand, because the thing is, it's not easy for them either. It's not easy for them. Okay. Of course, it's not easy for you as the people into the relationship, but for them also, it's not easy. It's the parents, they invested so much in the children, right? And teenagers, we are so emotional, so easy, with our feelings and everything. So for him, when he says I'm brave, now I'm really understanding what he meant, because for him, he knows, like, these guys, they are still young, they are in university still, so this guy can't be serious. Maybe. But when he saw me coming, I think he then understood, he's serious. Because, I could go to any country. Come on. And, the money I spent to go to Zimbabwe then, I think I could go to 2 or 3 Asian countries with that. Okay. Because I was serious. I wanted that. Okay. So when he says you're brave, that's what he means. Okay. He said, I appreciate it. You're serious in this. And really, and we built that very strong conversation, relationship with the family back there. And yeah. And by the way, after we meet the family, even myself also, I felt more confidence. Yeah, I felt more confidence. All right. Induku in Haley, I don't know. Okay. So I felt more confident because, now, yeah, okay. She, her parents know. That means now, although we are far away, but we have the support of a family. The same also back home, we have the support of the family because we then also started initiating very, interesting conversation with my brothers and sisters, especially. Okay. But yeah, she could talk to my dad, but they couldn't really understand each other. I was just there to translate for them. So yeah, all of this, it plays very much into building, into initiating the relationship. Of course, you don't do it in the very, very beginning. You get to know each other first because you never know. Maybe you would find out actually you can't really move along with that person. Okay, you don't finish in the very beginning, but these are things you have to consider as well as you move forward before you really start maybe thinking about marriage and everything. Okay, you need to try to say, all right, how is the family with it about it? Now, I would tell you this. I used to think it this way, but now I understand them too. My family, at first, when I told them about Erica, they kind of tried to kind of put me out of it. Okay, I would say that frankly. And I remember the time I wanted to take her with me, to my country, that 2014 time. When I went across Miami and then Georgia, I was telling my brothers and sisters, my cousins and aunties about it. They were like, Walter, you know what? Graduate and come back. That's what everybody was telling me. And I get home also to my dad and mom. My mom is different. Okay. But even my dad's like, they don't say no. They don't say no to you because they saw that I was serious. But they don't talk as in, oh, that's beautiful, good job. No, no, no. They don't talk like that. So at a certain point, you will realize that you are almost alone in that. Okay. And you have to be really serious about yourself, and knowing where you're going. Why do you want that relationship? Okay. So yeah, they were not very supportive, I would say that. But yeah, finally now I can tell you, everything is, beautiful. We are moving forward and we thank God for that. Okay. So yeah, we haven't said everything, but we want to leave some time for questions, guys. Okay. I'm sure you have some questions. We might not be able to answer everything. All right. So, but we'll try our best to answer, and maybe later on we could have an opportunity to come back with some more answers. All right. So maybe you want to say something else before we get the questions?
I'm not sure. Maybe we just be open.
Okay, let's get the question. Maybe from the question we can bring some more information to you guys. All right. Amen.
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 Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much. This is an exciting session. Me on my side, there was the time I was checking when did you meet, how did you meet? At that time, I was very, very, very careful. So I think for now, the people who are gathered here and the online people, I know they have some questions. So try to speak out. If you have a question, please raise up. Anyone with a question?
But Ezekiel has a question. I think I can see his hand.
Yeah. Ezekiel, it's your time.
Happy Sabbath, everyone. And I'm so delighted and I'm enjoying the love story from the Chevy family. Thank you so much, Brother Water and Sister Erica. I noted with a great interest when Sister Erica said it's important to know the person or your person or the person that you're dating. So my question is, how do you learn to know the person that you're dating? What are some of the ways that you can learn the person that you're dating? And my other question is, how do you handle conflicts of beliefs because of different cultures that you both come from? When there are those yes, differences in culture, how do you handle those differences? Thank you.
Wow, very good questions. You want to comment?
Okay, I would say, you know, about getting to know the person, like I would give an example as an our experience, right? When we first came to China, we were learning the kind of system that was here, especially when it comes to relationship, right? I think at those times we're learning there were other guys when they come in China, they are having a family back home, but when they come here, they don't show that they have a family. They will go ahead, have a relationship, and then after, when it's time to leave, then they're saying, I can't go anywhere with you, or I have my family. Then the person is going back to his family. But after spending so many years with the other person, and then so many other things. So for me, it was important to really learn, like to make sure that what what he is saying to me, right, is the same thing with the actual reality. So for this, I had to, quietly, learn his patterns, learn his way of communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. I mean, because, but then I had to, find out from, I know some other people would say, the past is what, but the past is important because, sometimes they say, the past tends to repeat itself or something like that. So you really need to, according to me, I really had to have thorough information of my person, and just to know that, it's like I'm not being, he's not playing me. His intentions are as good as he says they are, or something like that. So for me, it's like, when they were talking, like, you study the person, and I did study him. Maybe you did not know, but I did a lot of, studying him, and then also I think the friends around, the contact, they approved. I think in some many of our in our relationship journey, even though they could see the other people's relationship, they spoke differently about our relationship, and they had some kind of approval. It's like me. For some, they would tell me, "Oh, you're lucky. You really find this, this guy, because he's like this, like that, or like, those that were there before I was here, or those that were already there observing." So yeah, that's that got me to tick and count.
Well, now, how do you study the person? You see, of course, there are a lot of things you will never know. First of all, she's kind of new, and we are from different background. So a lot of things have mysteries, and of course it wouldn't until sometime when you'll finally, start to discover, things, and sometimes they are positive, and of course sometimes they would be like, wow, okay. Now, but in my case, I was already so much interested that I went into not just to discover that person, but also to kind of protect her too. I was okay. We were not in a very easy side, as she also mentioned. You know, we were having different relationships around us. You know, people, and some of them are friends of us. They were having different relations, and the way they were, doing with these relationships. Other people who are observing, they were like, okay, it's just a matter of time. Okay, some of them, they're like, it's just a matter of time that we end up the same. So it was kind of a challenge to us as well. So for me, I went on a journey to show them as well that, you know what, I'm interested. So I want to make it work. And of course, I'll make sure that I know that person as much as I can. And how do I do that? Of course, there are a lot of things I observe and she wouldn't notice. Okay. For example, I get to understand she likes to drink water a lot. Okay. Things like that. They have meaning. They are very small. But when you understand someone who likes to drink water, okay, that's positive. It's not a certain sickness. Mostly somebody would go to the doctor and then they are sick and the doctor will say, okay, drink more water. But you see that it's someone who actually wants to take care of herself. Okay. And of course, she was very serious about her religion. Okay. Also about that, sometimes I go to the home just to see what she's doing. And sometimes I would go on purpose on the Thursday to see what she's doing. That's why I would go just to eat her scrambled egg. Okay. To make sure that actually I know how she's doing things. And I could see her actually praying on that time. I like that. I like to see her praying and not praying to show up. Okay. Not praying to show that she's religious, but actually she's doing it. She would even go to class, wearing that thing because it's the Thursday. And, so yeah, I kind of study her in all of these corners. And again, I think the really main thing that gets me really to know her and get so much interested in her in the fellowship, the way she interacts, the way she asks questions, and the way she shares her comments sometimes. These things also tells me a lot. They tell me a lot about her, what she believes in, the kind of thing that she cares more about. Okay. So all of these things help me. Now, there were not much to learn from her friends. I would say that because her friends, I don't know how my friends were to her, but her friends were not very positive as encouraging. Okay. Actually, they were more like, they were waiting to see that fail. Okay. Because themselves, they were having those, layer surface relationships, and really they wanted her to fail. I'll say that. I don't know if she would agree with me, but that's what I can remember. They wanted her to fail. Of course, they would smile at us when they see us together, but I feel like really, they were not really with us. Okay. Most of them, at least, most of them. So they were not really helpful. I went on a journey almost alone to discover her. And again, of course, when I started, inquire to talking more with the family, with the brother also, I kind of learned from those as well. We won't get much, but that also helped me, you see? So the journey was like that, trying to understand each other. You can use those tools, but I think when it comes to the keys tool, that would be friends. Okay, that would be friends. That would be, since you definitely share the fellowship together, you will see how, for example, her attendance, does she always attend or she always have those excuses? Okay, of course, if it's class, we would understand that, but they should try her best. So all of these also were very important for me. And I can tell you, she was very motivated when it comes to spirituality. Okay, she was really focused. And hey, you remember we told you that we started in the Wednesday, which is the Sunday fellowship. Okay, from the Sunday fellowship, we continue learning each other, moving to creating the Tianjin Seventh-day Adventist Fellowship together. Nothing changed. It was still the same. All right. Same, she was bringing the same contribution, the same energy to the fellowship. So all of these were really, really strong, into helping us to know each other. Okay. Really, from then on, and I'm talking about it going spring 2014, there. I think for me, I'm like, okay, that's enough for me. I know there was a lot of things I'm going to know. Some of them will surprise me, but I think for me, I'm okay. I'm settled. Okay, so I'm good. Now moving to you want to say something? Go ahead. Huh?
No, I wanted to say there's some questions.
Oh, there are questions. No, there is something we haven't answered yet. The second question was about religion.
Maybe I would say this when it comes to our different religions, right? I would say like I mentioned before, myself, I am Jewish in background. So everything I would say, the Sabbath. Okay, originally, my family right now, even those that don't go to SDA, right? We by our nature observe the Sabbath, and we do practice, we don't eat this and that. So of course, in our journey as a family, right, we then moved from, because our family, besides religion, that's what we do. But now going on to religion, the point, by the time when I got here, that's when we were now attending that other church that observed a Sabbath at a different date. So when we got together, by that time, that's then I was observing a Sabbath on a Thursday, which was So when we get into doing conversation, I think we had a lot of conversations about this, like, why do you observe the Sabbath on a Thursday to Friday instead of Saturday? And then we talked, we were sharing Bible verses, and then we were having questions. And then of course, for me, I get to really understand, okay, why the Sabbath is supposed to be the Sabbath on the seventh day and not the way we were observing it. And anyway, it was originally what we used to observe, though. So this adjustment for me was not very, it was not a difficult one. And then already we believed in Christ and everything. I think the major difference we had was mostly on the time when the day we're observing the Sabbath. So this is what then after some time changed, and then as we began to build the fellowship together and going on.
Now the church know that I'm a good preacher, right? So I did my job, and it didn't take me long to convince her. And I can tell you, we are university students. We know when it comes to a debating, when it comes to debating, we'll read the question after. When it comes to debating certain things that make sense and don't make, because we know the Bible as well. When of course I respect her religion, please. And she knows that. She knows that I respect her religion. But there are certain things that they practice, okay, without making fun of it, I start questioning her to make herself to think about why doing this, why doing that. Of course, she would say it's close to the Sabbath. Of course, there is a lot of things that we actually share that their church also then shared, like Seventh-day Adventist, because apparently from the background history, there used to be a Seventh-day Adventist church. Back in Zimbabwe, they have many different denominations like that. Previously, they were Seventh-day Adventists, and then they just started to have their little small groups. So that was something like that. So then, I started asking her those questions, to make her understand and reasoning on that. And it wasn't hard, before she actually understood. And then, of course, she stopped wearing her things and stopped the scrambled egg. I missed it, but we had to, we make it too, but we don't do just Thursday. We have it on other days too. Okay. So, well, it was good for me somehow. So, yeah. Now, conflicts, there were not much conflicts on that. Okay, if you understand it so far, we didn't really have a lot of conflicts. First of all, we were already in the Wednesday fellowship, and we were sharing Christ, encouraging each other, which is what we love doing. And then after that, now we come to actually understand the truth of the Sabbath. So it wasn't difficult for her to switch, to come, into, not just believing, but to building the change in fellowship together. Okay. So I think we'll say this much for now. We don't want to be too long on the answers, also to make sure that others questions are answered. Yeah. So please, I think we have some questions in the chat as well. Let's not forget them. We are waiting for the next.
Yeah, because it is almost time, and
Oh,
let's hear from one question.
There's a question on the
yeah,
chat.
there is in the chat as well. Brother Bekesla said, I enjoy your encounter and how you initiated and maintained the relationship. My question is for me, Mr. Walters. Family play a huge role in approving our relationships, especially for marriage. How did you conquer the negativity that people were bringing into your relationship, especially your close family? What advice can you give people who are in situations where they have to choose between their relationship and the family? This is not an easy situation to be in, my brother. It's not an easy one. And you should really pray that it doesn't happen. Now, in my case, it wasn't so hard. It wasn't, and I would say this, maybe if I was in my country or she was in her country, of course, somehow you would say it would be easier, but yet it could have been more difficult as well. Because you see, we are far from home. Okay, we are both far from home. That means they're not really, we have this, we started developing these habits, creating our own culture, the two of us, although we are from different countries, but we started really building some very strong foundation together. So it would have been very hard for our family to come and say no, or to really say, behave in a certain way that would actually make this relationship not to be happening. Now, maybe in a situation where, let's say, she was in my country or I was in her country, maybe that could have been more difficult, where then there would be a direct, a resistance maybe from the family to actually let this thing happen. Okay, now, how did we handle it? It wasn't that hard from my side. I don't know. I never heard her saying about, her family disapproved. I never heard that. It wasn't, at least it wasn't expressed from my side, or I could feel it. Some of them, they were like, it's too far. It's about being too far. It's not the person. They liked her from the very moment that I spoke to her, but it's the distance. Like I would just tell you frankly, for my family, they never conceived for me to be still in Asia at this time. Okay, even for myself, when I left my country, it was like, what? You're going to China? What's that? What is China? You get it, right? So it was something unbelievable to them. So for them, the moment I was finishing my bachelor degree, it was already time to go home. Okay, so now when they are hearing that, hey, what? You're seeing someone, she's not even from Haiti. But of course, that was not an easy thing for them to hear. And they wish it was different. But unfortunately, I just visit them sometimes. I don't stay that much for them to talk too much in my ear. And the longest that I've been spending home whenever I go visiting, it's 1 month. I don't spend more than that. So you really don't have much time to talk to me and have me, talk me out of it. Now, if you are in a situation where you are, let's say, in a situation where the family is not really approving it, okay, they are making it hard, you need to pray, okay, because it's ideal that, when you start the relationship, we are all on board. We are all on board. And why I'm saying that, because then when you face difficulty, you could always get some help from someone, and if they don't approve, they'll say, I know who told you. So now I'm not saying this to say, yep, prayer is key. I'm not saying this to say that you must have everyone approval. Okay, that's not again what I'm saying, because really you have to, the two of you partners, you actually see the picture. Okay, you have to discuss it. You have to see, kind of forward what's coming your way, kind of prepare yourself, at least emotionally, about it. Okay, that's why we told you when we saw it, it was not very easy. So we prayed, not only prayed, but we fasted about it. Okay, so you have to pray that God let them understand that actually, you know what you're doing. You might have to also talk to them about it. Okay, you know what, I'm serious about that. I really want that relationship. Okay, and I wish I could have your support on this. Okay, so you pray and you let them also understand that you're serious on this. I'm gonna tell you, most of the time, to not say, they would always get, they will have to forget about what they think and say, try to support you. And this is the case for us right now. We have the support from both sides. Okay, they are with us. Okay, that's very
Maybe
important.
I'll just quickly add on that. For my side, it's like I had to slowly, like, of course, I you talk with mom, right? First, let her know that, there is someone, and this someone is from a different across the ocean. Yeah, of course she'll have your doubts, and then she would talk with you, by the way, do not do like this, like that, but then I kept on talking and talking. Then finally, when we had to present it to my dad, I think for her, she had to first say it, and then myself, I begin to hint a little bit. And then Zia wanted to really know, because in this case, I'm the only one who knew him. So I had to really present a CV to my dad, like, to represent him, like, he is this kind of person, he is this, at the school, he's like that, give him all this, information, give him all this, the approve, just like, you do your, like, a CV or something, so that he himself, you really get to know and have his perception about him. And then until finally he got to finally manage to meet him, and then then they could discuss, talk face to face or something like that.
Natural.
Then so for them, I think also, I don't know, in my background with my family, they were not so much into, let's say, choosing or what, but they have to have the confidence first from me. Are you sure? Are you confident? Is it is this what you want? So it's like, if I had shown any doubt or then it would have been a no. But for me, for them, it's like, you're at the forefront. So if you're coming to us, we're gonna have to be, you have to be sure, you have to be the one you are confident. So by then I had to, like I mentioned, to stand up for him, to make sure, it's you. And of course,
he had my back.
and of course, we did pray a lot, on this.
Mhm.
I did. And I would like to mention something though, in my I think, I don't know if you have ever heard of this, but during the time when we were dating and then we were moving, right, in the prayers, there was a time I had to, like, Lord, I want you to let me know that it is truly him. And then I remember about 3 times I had this dream. In this dream, it was like I am searching for something, and then I'm searching, I'm looking at something, but then when I remember on something, like I remember his name, or I know his name, and then I remember I used to feel at peace, like in the dream. And then I think about 3 times it came in different scenarios, but it was in a way that I then I say, oh, okay, so
Man, that's God's work. That's God's work. But I will tell you that, of course, my agenda from the very beginning is to make her feel comfortable. I know it wasn't going to be easy for me, but mostly not for her. So that was my agenda, making sure that she's comfortable. And I went so far on the journey to even make sure that she's doing well at school. For me, that was key. That was very important, that her schoolwork, she's doing well. Okay. Because myself, I'm doing well, and I come from a background where we are doing well. And this is like, for me, it's like, this is like a sign. It's like, okay, it might sound a little bit, I don't know, but in our culture, we kind of approve people when they are doing well. Okay, yeah, that's kind of somewhere we are. Okay, so For me, I wanted to make sure that actually she is serious into the study, and she was. And of course, I give her all the support that I could, encouraging her all the time. So yeah, this was very key for us. All right. So yeah, please, as the best thing is to have your family's support, of course, but it won't always come. You have to pray. You have to pray for it. Amen.
Amen. What church can you say? Amen. I think this was so
Amen.
impressive, but there is saying that